Hello everyone, SkyMax here. Today I would like to talk about new Vario from Naviter, the Blade. For a few years I flew with Flytech Element. Here it is. I flew competitions with it, had great cross-country flights with it, very capable instrument. But it was missing a few features that I wanted. Of course, there were other instruments available on the market. Gold standard of competition cross-country flights, Flytech 6030. But I wanted something a little bit more up-to-date as far as the technology is concerned. Look at them, huh? This is awesome. Anyway, here are a few features that I was looking for in no particular order. Integrated airspeed sensor, speed to fly, thermal assist, very nice, altitude above ground, maps, advanced final glide calculations like the altitude of arrival to your waypoint or goal, and easily customizable screen so I can set it for my liking. I'll show you how I configured my blade in a minute. But if you had experience with Naviter UDI, it's exactly the same interface, there is not much difference. But first, my initial impression of the instrument. At first, I was overwhelmed with complexity of configuration and customization of the blade. Yes, it's super customizable. And yes, it's very easy to get lost in all these parameters, menus and buttons and whatnot. I also was initially a little bit disappointed with the interface itself. Remember Windows 95? It is exactly like that, like a decade of smart devices development never happened. This probably doesn't matter to most people, but I'm a computer geek, so to see such awkward, dated interface was a little bit painful. I kept telling myself that I have to configure it only once, which is sort of true, but after every flight I would land and start reconfiguring it again. Because this button is too small, this button is too big, this information is useless, this information is missing. After about 10 flights, I think I'm done. Now it's configured exactly like I wanted, and I actually enjoy flying with it now. So I can file it as a minor annoyance. There were a few other concerns. First, how readable this screen is in the bright sunlight. Vario sensitivity, how sensitive it comparing to Flytech instruments. Battery life and battery replacement. Mounting options, or lack thereof. And of course price. If the sun hits the screen directly, because it's backlit, it's very hard to read anything. The light reflects from the plastic and I can't really see anything. I got used to that pretty quick, so when I need to read the instrument, usually while you're circling and you need to understand your climb rates, where your next waypoint, directions, where you're heading, the wind speed, stuff like that. In the thermal, it's not a big deal. You can wait until the sun is shaded by your wing, you can quickly glance at the screen, you're all set. If that problem is on a final glide or glide to your next destination, maybe a little bit more awkward. I haven't experienced that. Another thing with the screen is that there are settings to configure the brightness. I mistakenly reduced the brightness because I thought it was too bright, like to 70%. I couldn't see anything on the screen. So now I'm always running it at full brightness, which probably will reduce the battery life, but it wasn't a problem so far. Anyhow, I used to that pretty quick. It's not a problem for me anymore. I know how to work around this issue. The Vario is actually great. It's very sensitive. It's very configurable, just like on any Flytech instrument. So I have no problem with the Vario. And it's super loud. I actually like that. I can hear. I can hear it in the wind noise gliding fast. You can hear it. It's great. The battery is not serviceable, so you cannot easily take it out and stick another one. So it is a concern how long this battery will maintain a reasonable amount of charge. I'm sure the battery actually can be replaced, because you just have to take the whole instrument apart and replace the battery. Probably much easier than in a smartphone, which I've done. So what's the problem with that? You have to remember to charge it. If you had a short flight, maybe a couple of short flights. Not a big deal if you don't charge it. It should have enough charge for a few hours of flying, right? But eventually, if you didn't charge it and you're on start and the juice is running out, there is no quick replace the battery and go. You will not have the instrument. So there is that. I charge it every time just in case, you know, better safe than sorry. And like with everything else, the reason the battery the way it is to have that super nice form factor. Super thin, balanced, right? It's a trade-off. Not a deal breaker for me. We'll see how long it lasts. I hope it will work for many, many years. Another thing about the battery, Blade has a sleep mode. The sleep mode allows you to start up the instrument very fast. It probably uses a little bit more battery than just completely shutting it down, but so far it wasn't an issue. I left it in sleep mode for 2 weeks and it still has full charge. So what about battery life in flight? My longest flight so far was 3 hours and I had about 70% of battery left. I'm sure it will last whole day with no issues whatsoever. Mounting options. Why is this even a concern? Well, the blade has to be mounted on the base bar. Yes, you could probably mount on the down tube, but it's designed to be mounted on the base bar. I used to screw up my landings once in a while, and I even managed to break a flight tech mount that was mounted on my base bar. So when I got this one, I was a little bit concerned that I can break this instrument on a hard landing. The mount, though, is designed well. It's easy in and out. I have a aluminum base bar, so I got this permanently mounted on the base bar. It slides right in, and if you ever have a hard landing, it has no resistance of going up, so there should be no problem. Your nose will hit before there is any pressure on the mounting bolt here. My landings improved quite a bit, so I haven't whacked with this instrument. Knock on wood, it can be a concern. With this particular mount, I don't know if it can be done on the carbon fiber base bar mount. I can actually get it upright so it rests on the nose wire, so I can actually launch with the instrument in upper position, so I don't have to worry about that. On landings though, I always forget to put the instrument up, even if I can put it up, because landings require my full attention and concentration, so I don't even pay attention to these minor details. If I break it, so be it. But as I said, my landings improved quite a bit. I never whacked with this instrument mounted, which I'm happy about. But you know, it's a minor concern. So anyway, here it is, very nicely designed and done mount. This thing cost $1,300 without mount. The mount will run you another $150. So you're looking at $1,400, $1,500 you spend. There is some saving in the fact that it's already in the pod. It's an integrated thing, so you don't have to spend extra for the pod, but it's still a very pricey instrument. Now, if you fly both aircrafts, hang gliding and paragliding, you cannot take this and use in a paragliding because it's all integrated. So being integrated in the pod is good. Being integrated in the pod loses some versatility if you want to switch it between different aircrafts. So for fly paragliders, you would need another instrument. Since I bought it as a second instrument, I already have another one, flight tech element, that I can use in paragliding, but it's additional expense, obviously. This is the best instrument for hang gliding on the market at the moment. Can't go wrong with that. Is there anything else? I have a very small wish list for this instrument. One of the items is speed to fly. 6030, I was told, has a feature where you can adjust your speed by the sound. So when you climb, the Vario sounds a certain way, so you know your climb rates, and when you on a glide, it sounds exactly the same way if you at certain speed, so you know you're flying your best speed for that glide, for that day. With this instrument, you always have to look at the screen, and you also have to pre-configure or configure while you're flying, which is harder, the MacCready climb rates. Obviously, adjusting speed to fly by the sound is much easier in turbulent conditions than trying to glance on the screen while your glider is being rocked. The second item on my list is automatic Vario mute before start is detected. FlightTech Element has a feature where it mutes the Vario until start is detected. As it is, the blade is going to scream at you while you're preparing for launch, well, because the air pressure changes. And did I mention it's very loud? So there is that. That is it for today. I want to thank Naviter for making such an awesome instrument specifically for hang gliding. I love it. I enjoy flying with it. Thumbs up. Okay, see you all in the sky. Oh, sorry, almost forgot. My configuration screen. It's loud. Okay, let me show you what I have on my main screen. So I have Vario, I have averager, ground speed, true airspeed, speed to fly, altitude above ground, altitude, it's a GPS adjusted altitude, but MSL, wind direction and speed, and altitude of arrival to the next waypoint, which automatically is being set to takeoff. At the bottom, I have current LOD and required LOD to that waypoint and the distance to the waypoint. So this is all information I usually need in flight, and yet it fits on this single screen. In case of Element, I had a couple of screens I had to click through to get all this information. And yet it's pretty minimal, so there is not much clutter. You know, you can configure it to be as busy as you want and as light as you want. If this is too much for you, you can delete all those boxes and make them smaller or larger. All is that configurable. I configured some actions on all these boxes so it's easy to click that take me to the next screen. The next screen is just my experimentation at the moment. Remember I said that I'm done configuring it? Well, the second screen requires some work. As you can see, I stuck there a bunch of additional information for altitude to toward takeoff, MacCready adjustments. I can click on them and adjust MacCready climb rates, airspace information, and some information is repeating from the previous one, like I have averager here, but also have current time, flight time, some additional information that I don't really care at the moment. As if I fly competitions, I'm sure I will clean up this screen as well and put additional information there. If I don't have a task set up, I usually have a file for specific launch location with all the waypoints around that location, so I don't have too many waypoints on the screen. To select waypoint in the air, I just click at the bottom of the screen, which brings the whole menu, the main menu. I click on Go To, and here is a list of my waypoints by distance. I can click on specific waypoint. I'll go to. Now I have this waypoint at the bottom of the screen, and this line shows me where to go. That is it. My complaint about interface, how clicky it is. Let's say you want to adjust one of the boxes. You click menu, you click settings, you click nav boxes. Now you wait. Now you have to find your box that you want to adjust, which is not easy because it's a bunch of them currently visible. You find that in the list, you click on it, say edit. Now you don't really see placement of that box on the actual screen, you just see example of that. So you might need to remember all the colors and sizes and everything, which if you like me, you don't remember the second you left the screen. So it's not very easy. Now you adjust something, you click OK, and you get back to that screen. And if you don't like something, you have to go through that clicky thing again. Moving boxes is a little bit easier. That's it. Now you can move the box.